wants to be an entrepreneur cannot. Corporate job, AI is destroying it. The IT sector, public sector is being privatized. So what is the choice? The only choice they have is a sarkari job. So you give them one door, you close all the doors, then you rig that system and make it unbelievably expensive. And then you expect they won't be outside. Which world are you living in? So we are 100% in agreement with what every single student is feeling, what every single student is doing. And there must be some consequences to what has been done some days ago. It is not their fault. And so they have some demand.
Why our youngsters are outside. But there's a more fundamental reason. And that reason is this. That even after you have an education, you become a doctor, you become a lawyer, you become, you learn something, you're suddenly told that the doors that should be open to you, what your country and your government owes you, a livelihood, a job, is closed. So, manufacturing is closed. Look around you, you'll see there are only Chinese products. Entrepreneurship is closed. Take a look at who gets the money from the banks. 2 or 3 large companies get all the money from the banks. So a young person who wants to be an entrepreneur cannot. Corporate job, AI is destroying it. The IT sector, public sector has been privatized. So what is the choice? The only choice they have is a sarkari job. So you give them one door, you close all the doors, then you rig that system and make it unbelievably expensive. And then you expect they won't be outside. Which world are you living in? So we are 100% in agreement with what every single student is feeling, what every single student is doing. And there must be some consequences to what has been done some days ago. It is not their fault. And so they have some demands. What are their demands? The first demand, completely legitimate demand, is that Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan, who has failed as an education minister, who is known to be corrupt, should be relieved of his duties. 100% legitimate demand. Nothing wrong with it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's LOP Rahul Gandhi, who is currently sort of briefing the media about the goings-on. In fact, he's speaking about the education system in the country, and he says that the education system in India is, of course, completely rigged. And he said that 152 paper leaks have happened, and there's one paper leak every month that's currently happening. And once again, he's asking for the resignation of Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan. Remember, this is coming in after he was detained along with his sister Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. They both were detained, and then, of course, they were released. But, of course, they have upped the ante as far as these protests and action against the government is concerned. In fact, they've been asking for discussion in Parliament as far as the NEET paper leak issue is concerned. And 2 days after a crackdown on CJP protests to Parliament, sit-in protests, they have been continuing at Jantar Mantar. In fact, in a post on X this morning, the CJP claimed that thousands and thousands of protesters are at Jantar Mantar this morning and reiterated their demand for Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan's resignation. Now, late Tuesday night, CJP founder Abhijit Tipke, he issued a clarification that the movement had not called for any gathering anywhere other than Jantar Mantar. My colleague Niyamika is now getting us the very latest as far as these ongoing protests are concerned. Niyamika, what exactly are you picking up? What's happening at the moment?
well, the CJP is continuously protesting at Jantar Mantar as their primary demand is the resignation of the Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan. But on the other side, now the government sources are claiming that the channel is open as the government has agreed to have a discussion with the CJP members, and in fact, an invitation has also been given to the CJP as they can also come here at the residence of Mr. JP Nadda, who is the Union Minister. As right now, we are standing here outside the residence of Mr. JP Nadda, and just a few minutes before it was the Union Minister Jitendra Singh who had a discussion with JP Nadda here at his residence about this entire matter. However, the CJP is stating that they are not ready to come to his residence, and in fact they are stating that it is the government who should reach out to the CJP workers, to the protesters at Jantar Mantar. They should come there at the protest location and have a discussion, and they should also listen to the demands which are being raised by the students of this country. On the other side, the Delhi High Court has also ready to take up an urgent hearing of this entire matter regarding the alleged brutality, the action which was being taken by the Delhi police and the RAF personnel against the protesting youth of this country when they have come on the streets in the national capital on Monday. So all of these developments are currently taking place, but whether any solution is going to come out regarding this entire matter or not, that is really interesting to be seen. Whether the government is actually going to have a discussion with the CJP and will their demands are going to be met, that is really interesting to be seen in the upcoming days.
Meanwhile, in some significant news that has come in today from the very floor of the House in the Lok Sabha, Union Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiren Rijiju has said that the centre and the government, of course, is ready for a debate on the issue of the NEET paper leaks. Listen in.
3 दिनों से सरकार की ओर से हमने ऑफर किया हुआ है। मैं औपचारिक तौर पर आज फिर माननीय स्पीकर महोदय आपके साथ से अब सुनिए ना, आपने बात कहा है तो सुनिए ना। सरकार नीट पेपर लीक का चर्चा के लिए पूरी तरह से तैयार है और हमने पहले दिन से कहा है जब चर्चा होती है तो किसी नियम के तहत होना पड़ता है और इसका व्यवस्था बनाना पड़ता है। मैं अनुरोध करता हूं कि चर्चा कब होना है, चर्चा का ड्यूरेशन कितना लंबा चर्चा होना है और किस नियम के तहत होना है। माननीय स्पीकर महोदय, सारे पार्टी के फ्लोर लीडर से बातचीत करके इसका निर्णय किया जाए। सरकार पूरी तरह से नीट पेपर लीक पे चर्चा करने का तैयार है और इस देश के युवाओं का भविष्य के लिए हम सब मिलकर के एक सार्थक चर्चा हो, ये सरकार चाहती है।
In fact, the opposition has sharpened its attack on the government. It has mounted pressure on government for Dharmendra Pradhan's ouster and resignation. Let's listen into some key voices that have been coming in as far as opposition of the country is concerned.
आप 8 घंटे के लिए वंदे मातरम डिस्कस कर सकते हैं तो आप लंबे समय के लिए ठीक ढंग से जर्मन मोशन पे ये इशू भी डिस्कस कर सकते हैं। गवर्नमेंट हमेशा खेल खेलती है, राजनीतिक खेल खेलती है। जो एक्चुअल चीज है वो आप बताते भी नहीं हैं और आपको बताना चाहिए।
या अपने मंत्रियों को इसलिए नहीं हटा पा रही है या क्या वजह है, हमें आपको सोचना चाहिए क्या वजह। पूरा देश, पूरे नौजवान, उनके परिवार के लोग, युवा सरकार के खिलाफ है कि मंत्री को हटाया जाए, लेकिन क्या दबाव है सरकार के ऊपर कि वो मंत्री को नहीं हटा पा रहे। कहीं ऐसा तो नहीं कि मंत्री के पास वो छुपे राज हों।
भाजपा तो यही बोलेगा, वो तो फैसिस्ट है, वो नहीं चाहते हैं कि प्रोटेस्ट हो।
Keeping with the ongoing unrest in the national capital, a Times Network reporter was allegedly assaulted while covering the CJP protests at Delhi's Jantar Mantar, triggering widespread condemnation from journalists across media organizations. Dev Kotak said that he was surrounded by protesters, assaulted and robbed of his personal belongings, including his mobile phone. Now, while some protesters helped him escape, the incident has reignited concerns over the safety of journalists reporting from protest sites. The CJP has apologized for the attack and said that the assault was carried out by a section of protesters. Here's Dev just minutes after the attack.
क्या वो भाई आपके साथ? क्या हुआ आपके साथ?
मतलब मेरी आँख नहीं खुल रही चश्मे के कारण।
क्या हुआ था अभी जंतर मंतर पर आपके साथ?
सौरभ का इंटरव्यू करने जा रहा था, मुझे वो बुला रहा था, उसका कॉल आया, ये लोग ने गोदी मीडिया हाय हाय चिल्लाना शुरू कर दिया और एटलीस्ट अलग अलग 6 दिशा से कुछ 100 मुक्के, लाफे, पानी फेंकना, बॉटल्स फेंकना। उन्होंने चश्मा भी खींच लिया, मुझे चश्मे के कारण थोड़ा अभी दिख नहीं रहा है। मैंने बताया उनको कि चश्मे के बिना नहीं दिख रहा है, मत मारो, मुँह पे मत मारो, मुझे जाने दो, मैंने कुछ किया ही नहीं है, निकल ही जा रहा हूँ। तो उतनी देर में वो लोग ने धक्का करके गिरा दिया और फिर लात तब भी मारने लगे।
मोबाइल वगैरह भी आपका स्नैच कर लिया?
मोबाइल, घड़ी, चश्मा सब छीन लिया। हाँ, और ये फाड़ दिया।
कंप्लेंट किया आपने इसमें?
हाँ, पार्लियामेंट स्ट्रीट पुलिस स्टेशन में एक रिटन कंप्लेंट दी है।
Absolutely stunning set of events unfolded at the protest site. But ladies and gentlemen, that assault has drawn sharp condemnation from senior journalists across the media fraternity. The Mumbai Press Club has issued a statement stating that this incident is deeply disturbing and it constitutes a direct assault on the freedom of the press. In fact, this is a cornerstone of every democratic society. The incident has also reignited concerns over the safety of journalists who are on duty, with prominent editors and reporters stressing that no media professional should have to face violence while carrying out their work. The CJP has also apologized for the attack. In fact, they've said that only a section of the protesters resorted to such acts. So, of course, a stunning set of events have unfolded in the past couple of hours. A Times Now reporter was, of course, assaulted. And, of course, that has gotten all senior journalists from across the fraternity to bandy together and, of course, criticize and condemn that attack. And that attack has also been condemned by CJP spokespersons as well. But Jude, there is more that's happening as far as these NEET protests are concerned. Now, a legal battle over police action, that has intensified.
Absolutely. In fact, the action has shifted from the streets of Jantar Mantar well into the courtroom, even, as that legal battle has now caught, the court's attention. And this even as the Supreme Court has categorically refused, Sumita, to hear an urgent plea alleging police excesses against student protesters at Jantar Mantar and during the march towards Parliament. In fact, during a hearing, a lawyer told the bench that the police had used tear gas and resorted to brutal action against protesters. However, Chief Justice Surya Kant declined an urgent hearing, remarking, and I quote, "Don't waste our time and your time," unquote. And he also refused to view videos submitted by the petitioners. However, the Delhi High Court has agreed to urgently hear PILs challenging the police action, setting the stage for further judicial scrutiny.
Absolutely, Jude. And in fact, the CJI refused to even watch videos as well that were presented by those who appealed. But ladies